they're amazing. So, right, well, we'll bung them. Hello, frog. Kelvin's here. Morning. It's Sunday again. First order of the day. Actually got a coffee on up here for once. Normally bring a flask up, but I thought I'd do one here today. These are coming out at last. Tomatoes. So it's the 13th of November, and finally time to get round to getting rid of these. And I've got the brassicas still down here, some bits of mustard and pak choi that I could do with just potting up and seeing if we can grow some of those on over winter. And I've got to pull some leeks up today and take them home for tea. So I just wanted to show you these marigolds and saving seed from them. So I've got the very dead plant here and all these little flowers you can save the seed from. So I don't have to buy any of these for next year. And I'm sure anyone else that's been growing them is in exactly the same boat. So easy to save seeds from. They're like tiny little javelins almost. Will that show up? Cute. So there's absolutely uggins, and they're a great partner plant for planting with tomatoes for keeping away bugs, and they bring in the pollinators and they look cute as well. These are the little tiny ones rather than the massive huge tall things. So brilliant for companion planting around other plants because they don't swamp anything out. So yeah, that's for next year. Boop. The tomatoes were grown in compost bags this year just to keep things simple, and I created a little bit of a wicking system by raising everything up on this little bit of a fence over the top of these deep gravel trays, and there's wicking cloth poking through the bottom of the bags, which is set sort of halfway up into the compost, and then you can put whatever you want in those gravel trays, water, feed, all the rest of it, and it worked really, really well. And look who's turned up. I think he needs a name. I've got everything cleared, and I think, seeing as he's in here, I think I'm going to leave this set up and probably take out the gravel trays from that end, and I think I'll put some bits of sticks and things down that end in hopes that it'll move down there and live in that, and then I might be able to free them up from here, because when spring comes I'm going to want those gravel trays for the seedlings. So I think that's what I'll be aiming to do. I just wanted to show you what I've done for the frog so he can live in here over winter. I'm sure he'd be fine anyway, you know, if he's not happy he'd probably find his own way out. He found his own way in. I had an old plastic plant pot that I'd hit with the strimmer, and it was just really broken around the side, so I've cut it into like a little bit of a U shape, and I'm going to put it kind of like that, like a little cave, and I'm going to pop it underneath this end here where I've taken a couple of gravel trays out. All this wood chip that's underneath, I mean, it is really damp, as you can see, and it's quite deep. There is DPM stuff, you know, like the visqueen, whatever, underneath here as well, if I can get down to it. So there you go, just again to keep the dreaded mare's tail out. So it has retained loads of water, but there's nothing sort of breaking its way through underneath. But there are actually worms and all sorts of things in this wood chip, so I'm sure he's finding plenty to eat. There's plenty of little critters in here by now, so I'm going to just pop that under there, and then we'll see if he moves in maybe at some point. And just see if we can see his little house. There we go, there's his little sign. And his little house is... oh, I don't think we're going to be able to see. There we go, there's his little plant pot house. I'll have to keep checking and see if he moves in.
Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. Sometimes you need to go and take a step back to see the truth around you. From a distance you can tell. You and me meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. You and me meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free.
Now on to the spud buckets. I've still got quite a lot of buckets of potatoes that I need to empty out, and I mean, it's middle of November, they've been in there ages. It's been a really challenging years for potatoes in buckets this year because it was so dry, and potatoes tend to dry out in buckets anyway, so this year has been especially bad. So it's going to be interesting to see what we've got in here. There's quite a few buckets of Charlotte's left, and then there's another one which I believe to be Mary's Piper. So we'll just empty them out and see what we've got. That's out of one bucket of Mary's Pipers, so not amazing. And those are all the Charlottes, which is quite incredible really. They did really well, and they're really clean. Considering it was an absolutely awful year for spuds in buckets, you know, because it was so dry. They've done brilliant, but this soil, it was a mixture of lots of manure that we go and pick up from a pal for free, fortunately, which is really lucky. You've just got to bag it up yourself. There's some lumps in it that are not quite broken down. Hey up, we don't want him. He's not welcome. Ah! Right. Yeah, there's some lumps that were a bit on the dry side and are still a bit like bricks, but I've just squashed a few of those when I found them. So yeah, primarily manure and compost. Now I can't remember what the compost was, to be fair. It might have been the bulk buy thing of peat free that I got. I got nearly 4,000 litres last December for next to nothing because a big box store was selling a load off, so I just bought it all, to be honest, and I think it was probably that. So it just goes to show, I mean, it was amended very heavily with the manure, to be fair. And yeah, umpty 2 worms, really good stuff. Yeah, not bad that. Plenty of spuds to take home again. All these mustards, few poor little pak choi, I mean, oh bless them. Anyway, we'll see. Tat soy, like pak choi's little brother, but they're doing better. Couple of little poor chard that were still sat in seed trays outside, so anyway, they've got a home now, and they've got a little tiny dried mouldy dahlia for company. A couple more of those lobjoits cost just because I had loads of seedlings of those still just kicking about. So anyway, we'll see how those go, because it's still pretty mild. I mean, I keep thinking I'm sure it's going to change anytime soon, but anyway, while they're there, might as well see if we can get something out of them. I just put a couple in those little pots as well. They're only quite small pots, but well, again, I had them, so let's see what's going on. So, did you subscribe? Didn't you see the spuds? Subscribe, look. I have very much done that thing today where you start loads of jobs and just finish none of them and then just leave a mess absolutely everywhere. So there's all that detritus, you know, all this mess. I've just spotted my secateurs are there. I'll be wondering where they are next time. Just like stuff chucked. buckets and bag of half-used compost. Slug bucket and fork is still stuck in the parsnip bed. I bet there's no slugs in it now. I'm going to take that down to the bottom of the plot, but I bet they've all escaped. Spud carnage to clear up. Stuff to put, carrots to put back away. And on top of the compost heap, which I hope I don't forget, there's the parsnips that I dug up. Now I'm really sorry, but I completely forgot to film digging up most of the parsnips, so this is your lot. Right, now is it a whopper or a tennis ball? We'll see in a minute. Yep, it'll do. Look at that worm action. So yeah, I'd best start getting tidied up a bit, and then I've got a few leeks to take out of that bed to take home, and then I think I might have to call it quits because I've been here ages. Oh, I was just looking around to check to make sure I'd done all the tidying, but you know what it's like, as soon as you're walking back you go, oh, secateurs, oh, my gloves, you know, all that sort of stuff. There's the green tomatoes just here, look. Whoopsie. Right, so must pick them up on the way out. I probably won't, because it's me, isn't it? But I think I've kind of tidied everything as much as I want to be fair. All the potato detritus is gone. In here, I mean, there's still the little sad tatsoi, but anyway, it's better. Let me not fall over. There we go. So carrots are back in. Bit tidier on there. All tea and coffee stuff's gone. Everything out there. Tools and bits of stuff picked up and put away. Yeah. So not so bad. Oh, that bit of wood, that's got to go away. They're all alright, they were there anyway. And veg over there to take home. So yeah, quite a busy one today, but I've achieved loads. I'm quite pleased with that really. It feels like in here has totally changed seasons now, and even though I had to take down the tomatoes, I mean they were completely done and it looks fresher. You know, there's no crap here, which is quite nice. I didn't clean it, I didn't put the bubble wrap up, but you know, while it's still mild, then it's not so bad. I mean, if all this stuff that I've planted down here dies, then I can get rid of it all and just completely clean it, and then we've got a fresh slate for the new year. But I think it'll be okay. There were a bit of green fly on things, but I kind of rubbed it off a little bit, and then I gave them a little bit of a swish, as you'll have already seen in the bucket of water. So I mean, apart from spraying it with something, which I've got some neem oil, but I don't really like spraying anything if I can get away with it. I prefer not to. So I'll see if they pick back up and kind of outcompete it themselves. All the potatoes are officially out now, unless there's some hiding somewhere, which, I mean, there might be. But I think I've got everything. Everything's out of the ground now. Everything's out of the buckets. So quite a lot of shallots. That was quite surprising. I'm quite happy with that, really. So I think I might need to look through those and take some out for seed for next year. I may have already done that at home. There's a chance that I've already actually got some in a paper bag, but I'll have a look and see. I'm going to see if I can manage to keep some for seed next year. I've never actually done that before, so I don't know whether it'll be successful. I mean, I might come back to just like a bag of sludge, I don't know. But if I can manage to do that, that'd be really good, because I am trying to buy as little as possible for next year, which is why there's quite a lot of seed being saved and all that kind of stuff. So, and I don't really want to buy any compost if I can really help it, because I was mentioning before, I did buy nearly 4,000 litres last December. A popular orange coloured sort of DIY store in the UK. They were selling off loads of old compost that they'd had through the summer. And I got 198 bags of 20 litre peat-free compost, so nearly 4,000 litres, and it cost me less than 150 quid. It was 75p a bag, which was insane. So I borrowed Works van, and well, I'd ordered it online to make sure I got it. Then I borrowed Works van and went round and picked it up, and it was about, I think, 3 pallet loads came out, and that were a job and a half, and balling that on and off. They did help me put it on, but when I got home I had to take it all off and put it in the garage. At the time I did put a photo up on Instagram about that, because I stacked it all up like a load of sandbags, like a wall, and I kind of looked at it and I thought, I don't trust that. So I did actually lock the cat flap into the garage through the night, because I was worried about the cat getting in there and, you know, sneezing on it and knocking it all over, because it was that precarious. And I came down in the morning and it was completely avalanched, just like I thought it were going to be. If I can find a picture on my computer, I'll put it up here. So yeah, but anyway, whatever, you know, I had a lot of compost. But those raised beds, they take so much, it's ridiculous. And all of those were full up to the top. And they're not anymore. It's amazing by how much it squishes by, but I suppose when it's growing food and you're taking it home, then, you know, it's made out of something, isn't it? It's made out of compost. So yeah, it would be getting depleted. So that's why it's so important to keep top dressing and putting it all back in and giving it extra fuel for next growing season. But this year I really don't want to be buying anything. I am being tighter than usual, and that's why I've got so many compost bays as well, because the price of everything, as we know, has gone through the roof. We're all peat free from next year, so it's going to be a bit of a bum fight, I think, getting compost and the materials to make it as well. So if I can make as much as possible now and find as many avenues, as many different ways that I can collect it and make it from whatever, then I think it's a necessary evil. Although it's not really evil, you know, it's an opportunity, I suppose, to get creative and just recycle more stuff, really, which, you know, that can't be bad. I'll put a little picture up as well of the harvest from today. Yeah, it's great, isn't it? I mean, middle of November, leeks. I love leeks. Like 4 times as dear as regular boring onions, which is why I don't really bother growing onions. I mean, never say never, because actually I've got some in there. There were some really cheap ones somewhere I went, and they were like those sort of silver Spanish onion white ones kind of thing. So I thought, oh, I'll just slice some of those in that back bed there because they had a little row. So I have put some in, but I do prefer growing leeks because I can use them in place of onions such a lot, and of course because they cost so much at the shop. And you can do other things with them as well. You can, you know, use them like a bit of a spring onion as well, and, you know, slither them up and put them in little Korean salad rolls and all sorts of stuff. I lost them all last year. I grew them in the back garden last year in the little raised beds there, and they absolutely all got super allium leaf minered to death, literally. Which were really, I was surprised because maybe I shouldn't have been as naive, but I didn't think that they'd get found in a back garden where there's nothing else much really being grown, you know, veg wise around. But yeah, they got found and they got massacred. So at home I've got a big barrel, like one of those, I don't know how many litres it is, one of my big dumpy blue barrels with a lid on it, and I put them all in there, chopped them all up and put them in there, covered it full of water. And it has made, I know some people would think it were quite acidic, but I don't think it is. I watered the little apple tree that I've got at home with it through the summer, and chucked some of the slop, you know, the sloppy leeks on top of it, and then I covered it all with cardboard, and that were I think a winner, to be fair, because given the hot summer that we then had, so, and it's been fine. Yeah, no problem whatsoever. So I will be emptying that tub out. I really do need to get shut of it from home. I'll be fishing out all the gunk, bagging it up, bringing it up here, probably just chucking it on the compost heap. I might chuck it about, you know, I don't know, I might chuck it as a mulch on top of something, I don't know, but if not, it can just go in the compost heap. And I will bring up, I've got some quite big, like large oil, I think the 5 litre tubs, and like big vinegar tubs and things like that, because I use a lot of vinegar for cleaning. And I will put all the liquid in that, and I'll bring that up, and then that can be used as a liquid feed next year. What I will say is, people go on and on about how much comfrey feed smells, you know, when you drown your comfrey leaves, or your nettles in a bucket and then you steep it with water for a few weeks, and people go on about, oh, it stinks, you know, be careful, be prepared for it and stuff like that. If you'd smelt what those drowned leeks smell like, you'd be dabbing comfrey tea behind your ears, because honestly, comfrey tea smells lovely compared to leeks. The leeks is potentially it could well be the worst thing I've ever smelt. It's awful. I won't tell you what it smells like, but it's like, I can think of a few analogies, but anyway, I'm not going to say them. It's the worst. So there'll be a little bit of breath holding going on there. I'm not bothered about having my face over nettle tea and, you know, manure and comfrey tea and that kind of thing. I've got used to it now, but that stuff, yeah, bad. But good for the ground, of course. So yeah, that'll all be getting chucked in the compost heap, or done something useful done with it. And then I've just got that rid of, because I really need, it's just taking up space, is that just outside, so I need shut of it. I've spotted something else. I'll go get them. Left me little marigolds out, didn't I? Well, no, I didn't, because I remembered them. I just seen them, but nearly did. Yeah, so still loads of seeds to collect off those. I've got enough for life, I think, from what I did this morning, but I can't not take them. They're amazing. So right, well, we'll bung them. Hello, frog. Kelvin's here. Hang on, don't move, Kelvin. I don't move because he's on his way out. Hang on. Forget marigolds. Marigolds are really boring all of a sudden, because look who's coming out to play. Can you see him? Here we go. Hello, buddy. bet you haven't found your little house yet, have you? I bet when you do, you'll be pleased. Isn't he brilliant? Oh, little buddy. I have to be careful if he's going to hop around now and be looking for some food and critters and whatnot, that we don't step on him. I mean, what's not to love about having an allotment? It's just, you know, tons and tons of food that's amazing quality, fresh air, exercise, meeting people, critters, cute little critters like that. Shed that smells amazing, smells like wood. No, essence of shed sort of smell, heavily based on wood. Fab, little greenhouse to hide in. Something to procrastinate over vacuuming the house, you know, for some. It's just ace, isn't it? Middle of November, and it's getting where we're seeing less and less people up here. As you do, as is pretty normal really. But it's still brilliant. I came up at about, I think it was about 10:30. I keep thinking he's moving. I came up at about 10:30 this morning, and I bet it's about 4 now. Looking at, because it might not show, but it's dropping a bit dark now. It is closing in a touch, and it's got misty again. Yeah, we're really misty this morning. It's dropping misty again tonight, so it's time for shipping out, unfortunately. But yeah, done loads. Really pleased. Lovely harvest. All of this now is got a new function. Brilliant potatoes. I've still got tea to make when I get home. I'm making a pie, and I've got quite a lot of that stuff, to be fair, is going in it. Leeks for sure. Maybe parsnip. I don't know, because I've got swede, so I might put that in for the sweet stuff. But yeah, got a pie to make, and we've got, in fact, I won't put parsnip in because I took some of last year's parsnips that were pre-roasted and in the freezer out, so we're having those at the side of the pie. So you have to make sure I'm not sort of doubling up too much. But yeah, I've got to go home, get degrubbified, and start cooking something for tea, and then back to work tomorrow. So subscribe if you want to see more videos, possibly with Kelvin in. We'll see through the year if he does move into his little house, if I can get the camera under there. Like, comment, all the usual fun stuff, and see you again. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Kelvin. So I will be. Who's yelling at me? No one. So subscribe if you want to see more adventures of Kelvin.